Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome into our latest Trade to Black podcast. I am your host, Shad Dales, and today we're going to dive into some major developments that occurred late last week involving the drug policy coming out of Washington, and more specifically, what we're not seeing when it comes to cannabis. We'll find out why. So with that, let's dive into it. So as mentioned late last week and reported on Marijuana Moment, the White House dropped its top 6 drug policy priorities for the first year under President Donald Trump's second term. And cannabis reform? Not on the list. According to a statement from the Office of National Drug Control Policy, the focus is squarely on drug trafficking and combating the opioid crisis, particularly fentanyl, which makes sense. These right now are the administration's 6 core goals. Number 1, reduce overdose fatalities and focus on fentanyl. 2, secure global supply chains against drug trafficking. 3, stop drug flow across borders. 4, prevent drug use before it starts. 5, provide treatment for long-term recovery. And finally, number 6, innovate in research and data for drug control. When I say the word research, doesn't cannabis rescheduling come to mind here? I don't know. So let's be clear. Marijuana right now is not part of the plan, at least not for now. Obviously, that's disappointing for many in the cannabis space, especially after President Trump expressed support for medical marijuana and rescheduling during his campaign. But politicians can be politicians. Instead, the tone from the ONDCP is aggressive, calling for a whole-of-government approach to shut down drug traffickers and secure American communities. So with that, cannabis reform doesn't appear to fit into the strategy, at least not yet. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, for some context, the rescheduling process launched under President Biden and has since stalled, and there was some hope that Trump might step in and push forward. But so far, it's been silence. The administration says it has no action planned on marijuana reform proposals right now. But again, this could change. Still, the story isn't over. Trump's pick for the ONDCP director is Sarah Carter, and she has praised medical marijuana in the past, calling it fantastic for seriously ill patients, something I've mentioned a few times over the past week. If confirmed by the Senate, she could become a key voice in reshaping policy moving forward. And for many cannabis players, they can only hope. But let's also not ignore the other key players. Trump's pick to lead the Department of Justice is Pam Bondi, and she's opposed medical marijuana in Florida. But we're hearing that her stance has changed somewhat. And as DEA nominee Terrance Cole, he's raised red flags about youth cannabis use and even linked it to suicide risk, though there's really not a lot of data that backs that up. With that, these appointments aren't exactly sparking confidence in reform-minded circles. So bringing this all together, what does this mean for cannabis investors? For now, marijuana reform is not a priority for the Trump White House. But, and I emphasize on this, it isn't a closed chapter. The ONDCP made it clear that this policy framework will evolve, and there's still potential for cannabis to enter the conversation. Advocates continue to make the case that cannabis access could be a valuable tool in fighting the opioid epidemic. Well, wouldn't that be a game changer? And while President Trump hasn't taken a hostile action against cannabis, the total omission of marijuana from the plan is a missed opportunity in many people's eyes, at least for now. So with that, we'll keep watching and we'll keep asking the questions. And as always, we'll keep you posted right here on the Trade to Black podcast. So with that, if you found this episode helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know your comments. Do you think President Trump will eventually act on cannabis reform? If so, why? We'd love to hear from you. So that's it for today. And as usual, as I always say, stay connected, stay open-minded, and I'll see you next time on our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and thanks again, everyone, for watching.